Friends, welcome to you. Let's crack UPSC CSE optional, India's largest online learning platform, Unacademy. From Unacademy, you will be getting daily live classes, live tests, quizzes, structured courses, unlimited access to course material and videos on civils, prelims, and mains. Download Unacademy Learning app, get daily live classes. This is Kiran Anishetti, faculty for Public Administration, Political Science, Polity, Issues in Governance and Ethics. I have done my MBA, I have done my MA in Political Science and Public Administration, about to complete my LLB, got qualified UGC NET in both the subjects, Public Administration and Political Science. 4 times I took civils mains with Public Administration as optional, first optional, each time scoring around 60% in my Public Administration. I have more than 10 years of teaching experience in UPSC. I have taught in Telangana government ST IAS study circle, Telangana government minority IAS study circle, Super 60 IAS Academy Hyderabad, Challengers IAS Academy Hyderabad, Narayana IAS Academy Hyderabad, and Shine India IAS Academy Hyderabad. If you have any doubts or clarifications, you can contact me on my Telegram channel, that is Unacademy_Kiran Anishetti. Unacademy_Kiran Anishetti. Friends, today we are going to discuss Kiran Anishetti's fusion process model. This particular model discusses how the interest of the organization as such and the interest of the worker be and can be fusion. That means they can be synthesized. Generally, there will be conflict between the interest of organization and the interest of the worker. How to converge? How to synthesize the interest of the organization on one hand and the interest of the workers on the other hand? That is discussed by Kiran Anishetti's fusion process model. You can prepare with the top 100 educators of Unacademy, such as Mrunal Patel, Roman Saini, Darshan Gujjar, Mudit Gupta, etc. Unacademy will be covering UPSC syllabus comprehensively, such as polity, issues in governance, essay, general essay, ethics, optional subjects, history, geography, environmental issues, etc. Unacademy is offering plus subscription in which the aspirant gets daily live classes, series, limited practice, structured schedule. For 12 months, it is 44,000. If you use my promo code, you will be getting it 39,600. For 24 months, it is 64,000. If you use my promo code, you will be getting at 57,600. I recommend 2 years subscription because 2 years will be optimum time for the aspirant to groom himself or herself on the lines of UPSC. Unacademy has recently come up with iconic pattern of subscription in which the aspirant will be getting daily live classes, test series, unlimited practice, structured schedule, personal mentorship. This is very, very essential for the aspirant. The aspirant, in order to crack UPSC, needs to have personal mentorship, personal guidance from the educator. Because UPSC exam consists of various intricacies which are not generally divulged by the coaching institution. Hence, in order to be guided How to cope with these intricacies in UPSC Civil's exam? The aspirant needs to have personal guidance, personal coaching from the educator, faculty. This wonderful opportunity is provided by Unacademy, iconic daily questions on mains. You will get study planner, personalized feedback. We will be evaluating your answer scripts and we will be giving our comments. For 12 months, it is 64,000. If you use my promo code, you will get it 57,600. For 24 months, it is 99,000. If you use my promo code, you will be getting it 89,100. Apart from 10% discount, if you use my promo code, I will be guiding you with regard to political science optional, public administration optional. I will be giving my material that I have prepared on my own. I will be evaluating your answers. Apart from me, an academy will assign a team of expert educators who will be guiding you in their respective subjects. Hence, I strongly recommend iconic pattern of subscription for the aspirants because it is immense. It is of immense benefit to the aspirant. This Argyris fusion process model. This Argyris systematically studies conflict between the needs of the members of the organization and the needs of formal organization. Just give him a minute. My assistant made a mistake with regard to Argyris says there is conflict between the needs of the organization and needs of formal organization. Needs of members of the organization on one hand, needs of formal organization on the other hand. This conflict, according to Argyris, is because of alienation and discontent resulting from mechanistic and technocratic principles applied to organization life. This conflict arises because of mechanistic and technocratic principles applied to organization life. What does it mean applying mechanistic or technocratic principles to organization? Mechanistic means the worker in the organization has been treated as cog in the wheel, as a machine. He is not treated as a human being. Daily long working hours, strict supervision, psychological pressure from the management with regard to performing the work. They themselves will be dictating the terms about the work, how the work should be executed. For instance, if I am teaching in a coaching institution or college, in these many hours you should complete the syllabus. You have to teach this particular optional in this particular manner only. This is what Argyris means to say. Conflict arises because of mechanistic and technocratic principles applied to organizational life. But with increased educational levels, which leads to the desire for self-respect, independence, initiative, This organizational situation is increasing day by day. Increased educational levels. Increased educational levels. The more the organizational member gets educated, the more mature he will be. Hence, he feels he wants to have independence in the performance of his work. Initiative. He wants to plan out his own work to bring results to the organization. But on the other hand, the organization goes on imposing rigid, mechanistic, and technocratic approach towards organizational members. For instance, I used to work in an organization. I don't want to name it. It's basically a college. Along with graduation, it imparts coaching for civil services. In that college, public administration I used to teach. In public administration, writing practice is very, very, very essential. But they never used to have tests, weekly tests or monthly tests or any kind of test with regard to public administration. Paradoxical thing is that they used to treat public administration as academic subject. Basically, the management is from JEE and NEET coaching. That institution got into JEE, imparting JEE training for the aspirants, NEET training to the aspirants from intermediate. So they are new to civil services. New to civil services, but they don't want to learn because of ego. They used to treat public administration as optional, as academic subject. How ridiculous is it? 50% of general studies in civil services means is covered by public administration optional. And they used to treat this optional as academic because it is there in Usmania University BA exams. Since it is in BA exam, it is academic. That much of wisdom they used to have. And they never used to conduct any exam in public administration. One more interesting thing is that in the name of conducting civil services classes, such as, just a minute. In the name of conducting civil services classes, for them, civil services means science and technology, environmental issues. Of course, it is part and parcel of civil services. But in the name of conducting those components which have comparatively less contribution in mains, science and technology, it may contribute at the most 60 marks or 70 marks. Environmental issues, disaster management, at the most 60 marks. In the name of conducting these classes, they used to halt public administration optional classes. Because for them, public administration is academic. This is how, in formal organization, the rigid rules and regulations will be imposed, because of which the matured organizational member may feel stymied and stunted. Argyris focuses on individuals' social and psychological needs. He focuses on individuals' social and psychological needs, and exigencies of formal organization. Matured member of the organization, he will be psychologically mature. He will have his own psychological and social needs. Psychological needs means he wants to perform his duties and functions in an effective manner. For instance, as a faculty of public administration in offline classes, I want to conduct at least a test, minimum a test every fortnight. I should be given that independence. But how to teach public administration, what to teach, what not to teach, what kind of exam are to be put, all these things were to be dictated by management. Worker will be, I mean, he may feel suffocated. He says, Argyris says, formal organizational policies inhibit progress of personality development of employee. If it is rightly tapped, it will be beneficial to both the worker and the organization. In his book, Personality and Organization, he deals with this aspect, fusion process theory. Fusion process theory means simple, how to converge, to synthesize the interest of formal organization on one hand and the interest of the organizational members on the other hand. How to synthesize or how to converge the needs of formal organization on one hand and the needs of matured organizational member on the other hand. How can we say that? On what basis Chris Agres says that formal organizational policies inhibit the progress of personality development of employee? In the same college which I referred just now, in which I was supposed to work from morning 8 to 5. In between, if at all I get time, first of all, the civil service faculty should not be subjected to huge daily work of 6 to 7 hours. It will stunt and stymie his efficacy of teaching. The number of teaching hours should be less and room should be given. Adequate time should be given. Prepare for the subject, to enhance their knowledge, to update their knowledge. But in that college, such opportunity didn't used to be given. In fact, if any faculty were to be found in staff room by reading any standard textbook or any standard magazine, faculty used to be persecuted by the management because management didn't want the faculty to enhance and update their knowledge. This is how the rigid and mundane policies of organization, formal organization, will inhibit the progress of development of personality of the organization. But if the talent and efficacy of the worker is to be tapped, it will be beneficial for both for the organization as well as the organizational member. For instance, we have a reputed institution in JEE and NEET coaching, that is FITG. She is renowned for imparting training for JEE and NEET. In that organization, the teaching hours for the faculty will be very less. They will be given separate chamber to sit and to study, to do their work, and they will be given adequate time to enhance and update their knowledge. Because of which it is beneficial to both the organization as well as the organization member. Organization will be getting very good ranks and results, because of which its business will grow, and organizational members will be benefited with less number of hours and high pay. Pay is very high, 3 lakhs, minimum 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs, like that. That is starting salary. This is what Argyris says. If the talent and capabilities of the organizational members were to be tapped in an effective manner, it will be beneficial to both the worker as well as the organization. It will be beneficial to the worker as well as the organization. To the organization. The reasons for incongruency between the needs of matured organizational member, the reasons for incongruency between the needs of matured organizational members and the needs of formal organization is because of application of formal organizational principles that create following situation. The conflict between the needs of matured organizational member on one hand and the needs of formal organization will arise because of the mechanical application of rules and regulations of formal organization that create following situation. What are these following situations? Employees will have minimum control over their work. Employees will have minimum control over their work. That means everything will be dictated by the management. If it is educational institution, how the subject ought to be taught, in how many hours it ought to be taught, from which standard sources it ought to be taught. If everything is decided by the management, worker will feel suffocated. He wants to have independence in performance of his duties and functions. For instance, if you take public administration as optional, teaching of 4 or 3 chapters will take lots of time. Introduction, these 3 chapters are from paper 1. Introduction chapter, then administrative theories, classical theory, behavioral theory, systems theory, etc. Then administrative behavior, decision making, communication, leadership theories. After that, financial management. The crux of public administration, lies in these 4 chapters. The crux of public administration lies in these 4 chapters. But if the management decide the number of hours that ought to be allocated to each chapter, because management may not be knowing all these intricacies. The intricacies of the subject will be known to the subject expert, not to everyone. No, every Tom, Dick, Harry cannot know this. In the same way, if you take political science option, political theories and Western political thought, that's where the crux of political science lies. Faculty requires maximum number of hours to teach these components of political. But if the management mundanely decides, dictates the number of hours, the faculty may lose control over his job, that is inculcating knowledge amongst the student, imparting the knowledge, teaching the subject. Second situation, which results from mechanical application of rigid formal organizational rules and regulations. The organizational members were expected to be passive, dependent, and subordinate. They are expected to be passive, dependent, and subordinate organizational members. Whatever the rules and regulations that are dictated by management, the members have to passively accept. Like buffalo, they should shake their heads. For instance, college that I referred, actually they are from JEE and NEET coaching background. They don't know about ABC, about civil services. They started integrated college to impart coaching for civil services along with graduation. Once there was a meeting in that college. A great person came from central office of that organization. And he was fretting and fuming. How come the students are not getting 90%, 95% in civils films mock tests that were conducted in the college? Are you getting? Is it really possible to get 90-95% in civils prelims if the mock tests were to be conducted really on the standards of civil services? In the annals of civil service exam, I think nobody got that much of score in prelims. Of course, when we used to have optional in prelims, genius candidates used to cross 100 marks out of 120. That used to be exceptional in exceptional cases. In general, especially in general studies, getting 90-95% is ridiculous. It is not possible. That fellow doesn't know about this. He was fretting and fuming. One of the faculties stood up and he told him that, my dear sir, it is ridiculous and a utopian idea to have 95% or 90% in civils mock test, prelims mock. Then that person who came from central office became furious. Yes, whatever they say, the members of the organization should passively accept. They should give their heads as buffaloes. This is second situation. What Chris Agri says, when the rigid rules and regulations of organization are mechanically applied, the employees are supposed to be passive, dependent, and subordinate. Third, they are expected to have short-term perspective. Employees, they were supposed to have Short-term perspective. They should not have long-term perspective, right? Short-term perspective means how to complete 7 hours, 7 classes in a day, how to get the candidate to score more in academic studies. But the organization never wants its members to have long-term perspective, like long-term perspective, how to train the candidate on UPSC lines, to slowly train him. The precious years we have in integrated coaching, they say integrated coaching along with graduation, civils coaching is important. So in these 3 years, slowly, how the student should be trained on UPSC lines. All these things will not be there. You have to teach daily 7 to 8 hours. That's it. This is how formal organization expects the workers to have short-term perspective. They are induced to value frequent use of shallow abilities. Often, workers are encouraged to value frequent use of shallow abilities. Frequent use of shallow abilities means what? Frequent use of shallow abilities. Patterning the superior. Oh, वाह 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 वाह, क्या बोल रहे हैं आप? आपका नॉलेज जो है वो प्लेटो और अरिस्टोटल के भी बाहर है. आप कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल एक्सपर्ट हैं, आप सव्यसाची हैं, लाइक अर्जुन. You are expert in everything, in economy, in constitution, in science and technology. Like that, we have to flatten the bosses. There will be some informal, what you say, rules and regulations. Like we should not help any of our colleagues. We should not freely mingle with our colleagues. All these things we have to value. The management will force organizational members to value the frequent use of shallow ability. Frequent use of shallow ability. These are congruent. They are in consonance with the infant, not to the matured individual. These are suitable for a child, not to the matured person. Not to matured person. This incongruency increases with. Incongruency means what? The needs and desires of matured worker on one hand, and the needs of formal organization on the other hand. This incongruency increases with increased levels of maturity of individuals and employees. Incongruency increases with increased levels of maturity of individuals and employees. Increased levels of maturity of individuals and employees. Maturity of individuals and employees. Increased levels of maturity of. The more the worker becomes mature, that means he gets education, he enhances his skills, he enhances his expertise, he or she enhances his or her capabilities, efficacy. Then the worker is mature. The more the worker is mature, the more will be the incongruency between the needs of the organization, formal organization, and the matured worker. When formal structure is more tight, when formal organizational structure is more tight, what is formal organizational structure? Hierarchy. The hierarchy of the organization is formal organizational structure, like managing director, then director, then president, vice president, like that, manager, assistant manager. This is rigid organizational hierarchy. This is the organizational hierarchy. The more rigid the organizational hierarchy, the more will be incongruency between the needs of organizational member and needs of matured work. The more rigid the organizational hierarchy, the more will be incongruency between the formal organization, the needs of formal organization on one hand, and the needs of matured workers on the other. Needs of matured worker on the other. As one goes down organizational level, like at subordinate level, at the lower rungs of organizational hierarchy, for instance, if you take in law and order administration, police constables, head constables, sub inspector, the more you go down in the organizational hierarchy, the rules and regulations will be all the more tight. The rules and regulations will be all the more tight. That means the matured person cannot work as police constable. In my in Telangana state, paradoxically, the government ridiculously, not paradoxically, ridiculously, in constable recruitment paper consists of very difficult mathematics topics like probability, geography, arithmetic. Arithmetic is okay, algebra, then this calculus. Intermediate level mathematics is asked to recruit police constable. In Telangana and in Andhra Pradesh, it is easier to become IPS than to become police constable. Because in order to become police constable, you need to be good at mathematics. If you are good at mathematics, you can become software engineer or you can become bank PO. What is the use of getting in police as constable? Because of this, half of the recruited constables in Telangana state, they resigned because they are unable to bear the stringent training, physical training. Generally, at constable level, the aspirants who have good physique, they will be joining. Generally, who the students who are good at mathematics, they will not be participating in gymnastics or any athletic sports. They will be restricting themselves to books. In general, there may be some exception, but in general, the constable job requires physical fitness, but it never tests physical fitness. It tests physical fitness also, but apart from that, the more emphasis on mathematics. Resultantly, what is happening? They joined after the training because of inability to cope with such rigorous physical training. They are leaving the training. This is what Chris Argyris says. The more you go down in organizational hierarchy, the rules and regulations of the hierarchy will be, rules and regulations of the organization will be more rigid. They will be more rigid. Managerial control and evaluation techniques are viewed as instruments of punishment. Managerial control and evaluation techniques are viewed as instruments of punishment. Managerial control means the regular meeting by superiors. Evaluation techniques in colleges, they conduct evaluation of performance of faculty. They will give the requisite form to be filled by the students. Students will be giving their feedback on the performance of the faculty. For what purpose the college management uses this feedback? It is not to enhance the performance of the faculty, but to reduce the salaries of faculty. On the pretext of the feedback is not so good, they reduce the salary of the faculty. In the name of regular meetings, long hours, in the organization in which I worked 5-6 years ago, there used to be meetings from afternoon to night. Hence, workers assume managerial control and evaluation techniques viewed as instruments of punishment. They view as instruments of punishment. In the name of these programs and policies, in the name of evaluation techniques, the organizational members may be persecuted. Under these circumstances, the worker may opt for any of these following options. He may try to leave the organization, or he may try to climb up the organizational ladder. He may leave the organization. As I told you, the constables, half of the constables who have been trained, they left the job, their jobs themselves. He may leave the organization, tries to climb up the organizational ladder. I observed a police constable uh, 15 years ago, 15 years, 25 years ago. I saw a police constable. At those times itself, he was postgraduate. He did his MCOM, postgraduate. But he was constable because of some family problems. He joined as constable. Always he used to try to write the exam for SI or for Group 1. The organizational member, he may tries to climb up the organizational ladder. He may tries to climb up, he may try to climb up organizational ladder. Or he may use defense mechanism, avoiding the glare of superior. I have observed in colleges, often the faculty avoids principal or dean, associate dean, not to be seen by them because unnecessary headache if they are seen by them. So using defense mechanism, becoming disinterested, not interested in job. चलता है चलने दो. Most of the people in, especially in software, they perform their jobs mundanely, mechanically, disinterested in job. Any of these circumstances, the worker may opt for these choices when there is incongruency between the needs of formal organization and the needs of matured organizational member. At the same time, unfortunately, the top management assumes the employees are basically lazy, employees do not have interest in work, employees are money crazy, employees create errors and wastage, employees are lazy, employees do not have interest in work, employees are money crazy, employees create errors and wastage. Employees create errors and wastage. The top management thinks that the worker should change their attitude. The worker should change their attitude. This Argyris suggests following strategy for change. This Argyris proposes following measures for the change in the organization. What are they? The organization should provide an environment for the development of individual. The organization should provide an environment for the development of the individual. For this purpose, following steps can be taken. The worker should be trained to transcend from infant pass- passivity, pa- passivity to adult activity. The worker should be made to transcend from infant passivity towards adult activity. Instead of being passively following the organizational rules, dictums, the orders, the worker should be encouraged to participate in organizational work with adult activity, adult maturity. He should be made to participate in organizational mission with adult maturity or adult. The organizational member should be made to transcend from dependency towards relative independence. From dependency towards relative independence. From dependency towards relative independence. The worker should be encouraged to have long-term perspective rather than short-term perspective. The worker be encouraged to have long-term perspective, like how to enhance his capabilities, skills, technical expertise, knowledge, so that he will be beneficial to organization and its goals in future, in long-term perspective. For instance, if I am teaching public administration in any coaching institute or college, if the college management encourages me to study Indian Journal of Public Administration, college or the coaching institution subscribes Indian Journal of Public Administration and it gives me adequate time in the institute itself to update my knowledge by reading Indian Journal of Public Administration, I will be doing immense benefit to the organization in which I am working. I attended one interview in a college. I really appreciate my superior who took the interview. As soon as I told him that I am faculty for public administration. After having gone through my resume, my CV, he directly posed a simple question. Do you read Indian Journal of Public Administration? And how you are going to benefit my students by reading Indian Journal of Public Administration? I really appreciate that interviewer. They explained in Indian Journal of Public Administration, essays, the speeches that are delivered by eminent speakers in Indian Institute of Public Administration, New Delhi will be published. They will be of utmost significance to the students because those things that are discussed in the speeches that are delivered in Indian Institute of Public Administration, these speeches are published in Indian Journal of Public Administration. They are not found in regular standard textbook. For instance, with regard to measures that ought to be taken to reduce corruption, one of the eminent speakers in Indian Institute of Public Administration, he is Jayaprakash Narayan, the head of Lok Sakta Party, retired IAS officer. He suggested, really we should appreciate his intellect, his creativity. He referred invoking Article 253. According to Article 253, Parliament can legislate on state subjects in order to enforce or implement any international covenant or agreement. In order to enforce any international agreement or covenant, Article 253 can be invoked. Consequently, the Parliament can legislate on state subjects. He suggested his recommendation in the context of functioning of Lokayukta. Large chunk of corruption happens at state level. सारा घोटाला, ये घोटाला, वो घोटाला, आपको तो मालूम है. Large chunk of corruption happens at state level. But unfortunately, state governments are ensuring that the Lokayukta institution should remain teethless because the qualifications of Lokayukta, the powers and functions of Lokayukta will be decided by state legislature. The power has been given to states. And states are ensuring that the Lokayukta institution should become teethless. Then Jayaprakash Narayan suggested that Parliament can legislate Uniform Lokayukta Act prescribing qualifications for Lokayuktas in every state, prescribing the powers and functions for Lokayukta in every state. Like that, Uniform Lokayukta Act that can be applicable throughout the country can be legislated by Parliament by invoking Article 253 because India has entered into an agreement with UN in 2003, that is Convention Against Corruption. In the name of implementation of this Convention of Corruption, Article 253 can be invoked. This is what recommended by the great intellect Jayaprakash Narayan in his speeches, one of his speeches in Indian Institute of Public Administration. This is how IJP journal will be very useful. If the organization makes me to study and if it gives adequate time to me to prepare, then I will be having long-term and cogent strategy to strengthen my organizational objectives and goals, to strengthen my organization to achieve its goals and objectives. From subordinate social position to equal social position, the rigid superior Subordinate hierarchy should be relaxed. Yes. The subordinate should be transcended from subordinate social position to have an equal social position. From lack of self-awareness to have self-awareness and self-control. To have self-awareness and self-control. So these measures are to be taken by the organization to make organizational member more mature and to reduce the conflict between the interest of formal organization on one hand and the interest of the matured organizational worker on the other. Second, improving interpersonal competence. Interpersonal competence. In order to enhance interpersonal competence, three essential conditions ought to be met. These following three measures are to be taken by the organization. Self-acceptance. This refers to the degree to which the organizational member values himself in a positive fashion. Organizational member should feel himself that he is pillar to the organization, he is central to the organizational success. Hence, he should be made to have and to value himself in a positive fashion. To value himself in a positive fashion. College that I referred just now in this session, in which I worked 5-6 years ago. In that college, I have observed all the faculty, they will be discontent, always disgruntling. Our life is waste. Faculty teaching job is waste. Like that, always they will be complaining. That should not be the case. Organizational members should be made to value themselves in a positive and confirmation. They should be made to realize by testing their own self-image. This conviction that they are pillar or essence or central to organizational success. That conviction will come when they test their own self-image by feedback. For instance, in an educational institution, how I'm teaching, how am I working? By testing one's own self-image, they should confirm their positive value in organization. Third one, essentiality. One should get opportunity to utilize their capabilities, their central needs. If a person is very good at teaching, he should be given teaching job so that he can make the most of his capabilities. A person may be good at administration. He should be given administrative job so that he can make most of administrative. That is third one, essential. One's opportunity to utilize the central abilities and express their central needs. Their central needs. Matrix organization. Third measure should be create matrix organization. That means the rigid hierarchy will be dismantled. The organization will be remodeled on project teams. This organizational structure removes superior subordinate relationship. Matrix organization removes superior subordinate relationship. It will pave the project teams such as manufacturing, marketing, etc. Will pave project teams such as manufacturing, marketing, etc. Key group learning or sensitivity training. It, involves employees, will be exposing their behavior and receive feedback. In a T group training or sensitivity training means simply one thing. In a simulated hmm, atmosphere, simulated means the way we have a simulated aeroplane to train the pilot. It is like aeroplane only, but it is not actual aeroplane. But it will give the same feel as if it is aeroplane. Like that, in such a simulated environment, organizational members should be allowed to express their unique, sometimes what you say, eccentric behaviors, to bring these eccentric behaviors out and to receive feedback and experiment with them. And in the same way, observing the behavior of the others and giving feedback to others. Be giving feedback to others. Organizational members, while working in the organization, they may have some peculiar habits or peculiar body language, like Krishnamachari Srikanth, the dashing opening batsman, former dashing opening batsman. While batting, always he used to sneeze like that, and he used to do like this with his nose. Like that, every member of the organization may be having eccentric behavior or some unique attitude or behavior. It should be brought to open, and the members of organization should receive feedback about their behavior. And in the same way, they should observe the behavior of other organizational members and they should give feedback. That is sensitivity training or T group training. Fifth, double loop learning. Double loop learning, it means learning from others. Double loop learning means learning from others. Is learning from others. Thank you, friends. Subscribe to Unacademy YouTube channel. Share the videos, like the videos. Use my promo code to get 10% discount. Hi, Nitish. Hello. Good evening. 10% discount. Get 10% discount. Subscribe to my Telegram channel. That is Unacademy _ Kiran Anishetti. See you in the next session. Thank you, friends. Thanks a lot.